Welcome everybody, and I want to introduce Team Energeia from Cairo, Egypt, the winners of our grand prize in this year's 2026 Power of the Community competition. Team Energeia, it's an honor to have you here. And before I say anything else, let me just say it out plainly. You won the grand prize out of 231 registered teams from 16 countries, 56 design submissions. Your design made it through 3 rounds of judging, and as announced by Jill Ivanko in our award show this past Saturday, you won the Energy Innovators Award this year. So thank you for joining us. I want to use the next 45 minutes to be a celebration and a conversation. This is not an exam. You have already passed. You have taken home the prize. What I really love is for the world to meet you and the people behind the work and hear in your own voices how you turn the real community's hardship into answers in your proposal. So I've read your full report. I've studied the presentation. We've had 3 judges in the group judging, 3 judges in the semifinals, and 5 judges in the finals all go through your presentation. And your work kind of stands out among the very best this competition has ever seen. So let's begin and enjoy this. And I'll start with Salim, who's the captain of the team. And I'm going to
Thank
introduce
you.
everyone. So let's go in order. Salim, you set the tasks and the deadlines, helped everyone gather the scattered data, cross-referenced it, and you even did the research on the vertical Peloton hydraulic turbine. So welcome and thank you for being with us.
Thank you so much, Don. Thank you to the entire mentors, and thank you to Ian and Judith. Thank you for the sponsors for making this possible. Thank you to EY, MathWorks, Aspen Technologies, and Shard Industries. Well, it's an honor to represent Egypt and the Arab Academy for Science, Technology, and Maritime Transport, and our Electrical Energy and Engineering department here in the Smart Village campus. Um, This wouldn't be possible, to be honest, without giving some recognition to our supervisors, the head of electrical engineering, Professor Hatem Diab, and the vice dean for engineering and technology, the vice dean for graduate studies, Professor Mahmoud El Wadia. So this wouldn't be possible without their insight. It was a team effort, and yeah, let's get straight to the interview.
Cool. It always takes a team. So let's meet the rest of your team. Next up, Yosef. I think you described him as your go-to man. When something was urgent, the team knew he would be there. He located and identified the site that was the basis, and he ran the feasibility on biogas, wind, and rooftop solar. So, Yusuf, introduce yourself.
Hello, Don. I am Yusuf. I'm studying electrical energy in AST. I am very happy today with you and with my team.
Cool. Thank you. We'll get to some questions for you later. Mohammed, called the fixer, he did more than his own tasks. He helped everyone's with theirs, the problem statement, the family financial plan, the agrivoltaics and the biogas layouts and the building layout. So, Mohammed, please introduce yourself.
I'm Muhammad Ahmed. I'm studying energy engineering at AAST, and I would like to thank you, Mr. Dunn, for this opportunity. And I'm very happy to join this interview.
Cool. Zayed mapped how things actually got built out in the 4 stages of execution and ran the feasibility across the renewable options. So, Zayed, please introduce yourself.
Hello, Dr. Don. My name is Zadrami, and I am happy being in this conversation.
Cool. Ahmed Haider, you carried the human side and the accountability, the policy, the psychological impact on the residents, the carbon accounting for both systems, funding, transport, and the schooling ideas. So please introduce yourself, Ahmed Haider.
Hello, Don. My name is Ahmed Haider. I study energy engineering in AST, and I'm excited to be here.
Thanks. Hala, you taught yourself Canva from not knowing it and were able to build the entire presentation and the schematics that made a complex design easy to read. So Hala, please introduce yourself.
Hi, Mr. Don. So my name is Hala Muhammad, and my role, I was the one responsible for the entire PowerPoint slides. And also, I was the prompt engineer for the artificially enhanced schematics. So it was really great, and it's a pleasure to meet you, Mr. Don.
Well, thank you. Jumana, you learned brand new software from scratch and pushed through to the finish, and you did the 2D and 3D walkthrough renderings of the apartment. Please introduce yourself.
Hello, Mr. Don. My name is Joanna. I'm an energy engineering student at the Arab Academy for Science and Technology. My role was to be the bridge between our engineering calculations and the real world urban architecture. And I also managed to have some calculations also about the transportation, garbage system, networks, and safety and security. Thank you. It was such an
Well,
honor to be with
cool.
you.
Well, thank you for joining us. Now, I understand there are two team members who are not here. Fadi, who built the consumption and the utility backbone of the whole design, and Mahmoud, who reached out and got construction cost data and was able to use contacts that was to get data that wasn't available to the public, and he made the economic calculation. So we give them our best, but we understand they have conflicts and could not be here today. So let's get started, and I'll start with Salim. Uh, you posted something on LinkedIn, and it kind of blew me away. Is it true that you found Power the Community by typing energy systems competitions into some type of search, and that was only about one day before the registration closed? So give us a little bit of background, and how did you put this team of 9 together, given that that type of origin story?
Well done, thank you. That is a very interesting question. Well, we did not expect it either. We searched it up and we found it. And as soon as we read the description, we were like, wow, we have to join this. So I told the others who didn't know. And if you're asking who the others are, my teammates, they are my colleagues in college. We're all in the same major, same courses. So as soon as they read the description, they were like, yes, we have to do this one for the experience. And we were first year students. So if you would ask us like 3 months before that we would be winning this and we would be here, we would not actually believe you. Um, and this is actually just possible just because we found out about it one day before the registration deadline, competing against people in year 5 and their 4th year and final year of university with this much experience and with such a small deadline. And because we applied very late, this is just tremendous. We did not expect to be here at all, and we're absolutely grateful.
The one thing that hurts me about that story is that you all opted to do something, and that's always the first place that there's lots of challenges in the world, but taking the decision and deciding to do something, I always tell people that people benefit from this competition by just participating and upskilling. And you all were able to do that, which is the fundamental way that you can launch your career is by self-empowering. So that's really cool. The Let's move on to how you pick the community. And so, Youssef, tell us about Al Azmarat, Phase 3. Why did
Okay.
you pick this community
We
in
choose
Mokattam, Cairo?
we choose Asmarat because it is one of Egypt's most important European development projects. The community already had strong infrastructure and a large residential population, making it an ideal location to implement sustainable solution at scale. We saw an opportunity to reduce utility costs, create jobs, improve food security, and demonstrate a model that can be replicated in other communities across Egypt.
Cool. Ahmed Haider, when you looked closely and looked at the residents' need, what were their deepest needs and aspirations?
Well, when I looked at the psychological factor of the place in High Asmat, we saw that the residents there had been facing major overcrowding and suffered from spatial estrangement and a ban on livestock. With our design, we could slash energy bills and furthermore legally bypass the livestock ban by utilizing the treated waste for community-owned animals, therefore taking advantage of massive animal farmland and utilizing it for the help for the residents there.
Cool. And if Mahmoud was here, I think that this question would go to him, but Salim, why don't you take it if Mahmoud hasn't joined us online? The
Got it.
construction cost work meant reaching out and getting data that wasn't public. And tell us a little bit about that. How did you get numbers that were solid enough to build real economics on? What was the process?
Well, I've always heard that networking is the key, and I've never really believed it until we needed it in our competition. As soon as we knew we wanted to calculate the construction costs, the how much would it take, how much money would it take to build, how much money did it take to build, because that's like a decade old data, and we could not scrape that from the internet. So we had to find real people who worked on this project, and luckily enough, his father knew some friends who had worked on this project before. And there are a few standards here in Egypt in buildings, so we could assume these standards and calculate based off these estimates. So this was very useful in getting very accurate, um, calculations.
Resourceful. Zayed, let's move on to the design itself. And before you all settled on a design, Zayed, I believe you studied wind, geothermal, biomass, solar, and hydro, and you eliminated some of those options and picked some others. So what mix did you pick for Al Asmarata, and how did you come up with the solutions you did?
Well, uh, uh, I don't have a little bit information the biomass and the geothermal and CSP and the photovoltaics, but I made a lot of research about that, and I think I compared it. I think it is comparable to the Hellas model, but it faces a lot of problems from the geothermal. It requires in the highest mode it requires a huge private funding, and it is not suitable for relatively low complex low projects. From the biomass, uh, it, it requires extensive agricultural resource in this area, as the photovoltaics. Uh, for the agrivoltaic rooftops, uh, it requires uh, it requires a low payback, and it will increase for gaining energy for the houses, or some or buildings, or some else.
That's cool. What I really like about that is you all already said your first year students, you were starting out not knowing about a bunch of those technologies and you empowered yourself to go learn about it. So not knowing wasn't an obstacle, it was a challenge and that was something that you're able to do. That's really cool.
That's
Um,
right.
uh, let's now move on to talking about some of the components of the solution. So one of the unique ideas, I hadn't seen it before in any proposal in the 3 years, was using gray water in an apartment building, splitting gray water from black water, gray water being like water coming from shower or washing versus water from toilets, and using that in a hydro system, using the potential energy of the water as it falls down. And so that was a pretty unique idea. So, Salim, you kind of researched what type of vertical Pelton turbines might be available and apply to this. So, explain to us the system and how it was put together.
Okay, so normally what most designs when studying previous submissions did is they used rainwater harvesting, which is pretty similar to our design, but there are key differences that actually made it stand out. So our gray water hydropower, first of all, is not a method of getting enough energy to power anything. It's just for sustainable use, so it could power sensors when blackouts happen, so it could secure the building and secure its safety, since it is a very high-rise building. It is 10 floors, so walking on the stairs without any light, that would mean tripping. So this would fix this issue because the lights would be on 24/7, powered by the gray water hydropower, and it would also power security cameras, which would fix the safety issues already existing in Hayy al Asmarat. And it would also power, as I said before, the sensors. So how does it work? So the main component, of course, as we mentioned earlier, is the Pelton turbine. So what makes it unique than other turbines is that it has its sort of geometry is made best for vertical alignment. So when you have a pipe which has vertical water coming down, it will not be efficient. So normally a Pelton turbine could reach 80% efficiency, but at vertical length, it would be 30 to 50%. And the reason for that being is there's friction that occurs between the pipelining and the water. So to counter this issue, we did not count at it as a first nor secondary source of energy. We counted my bad. We counted on the agrivoltaics to generate enough energy and the CHP, and our design mainly focused on sustainability rather than renewable energy. So we were able to have a sort of mix between sustainable infrastructure and carbon accounting, while at the same time having a reliable system that could stay for many years to come. That is all.
Yeah, and the challenge, we don't throw out an objective to the teams. I mean, the way the competition is designed is every community has to decide for itself the relative importance between affordability, sustainability, and reliability. And and what I think is kind of interesting is your solution on using the electricity from the hydraulic turbines, storing it in battery and using it for the very critical application. It's not a huge demand, but it's very critical in terms of quality of life, that people can walk safely in their buildings when it's dark, when there's a blackout, and that the security cameras work so that way they can walk with a sense of security. So it's a case of a very critical reliability application being met by a unique fit for purpose solution. So that's kind of interesting. While in the same time you address the whole uh, needs of the community through those primary and secondary things you mentioned. Did I understand the design right?
Yes, and there's also actually a bonus tied to it because the water gets reused as water used for the rooftop agriculture. So it's sort of a win-win because you don't waste any resources at all.
Cool. So let's dig into some of those other components. So Yusuf, I believe you did the feasibility on the combined heat and power biogas plant. So tell us in your own words, how do you take the sewage coming from the complex and convert it into usable heat and power?
Okay. The CHP biogas system converts wastewater into useful resources. Wastewater enters the UASP reactor where anaerobic bacteria break down organic matter and produce biogas. The biogas is then cleaned and sent to CHP engine. that generates electricity and heat. In addition, the treatment process produces reclaimed water and organic fertilizers, creating multiple environmental and economic benefits.
Cool. And I think Mohammed is the one who drew the plant schematics. So, Mohammed, can you walk us through uh, verbally what the schematics are coming from the reactor all the way to the engine? What are the components in the system?
The CHP biogas plant was designed to convert sewage waste into useful resources. Black water is firstly collected to the UASP reactor, where anaerobic respiration happens. And then the biogas is then used in a CHP engine to generate electricity and heat. And the system produce water reclaimed for irrigation and organic fertilization and agriculture used on the rooftops. Uh, and this solution help solve waste management problem while generating renewable energy, reducing utility cost, and creating economic value for the community.
Cool. And Ahmed Haider, you did the carbon accounting for the systems. So tell us about what you found when you did the carbon accounting and the carbon footprint. And is it true that you can pay for all the street lighting? So give us an insight into that side of the analysis.
Well done. Our carbon accounting was built on a verifiable, data-driven framework tied to Egypt's current regulatory market. Calculations prove avoidance of 1,200 tons of CO2 emissions per year. We monetize this using the FRI division 36 2026 to give a market rate of $15 per ton, which is 945,000 Egyptian pounds annually. This number, this allows for carbon abandonment cost, is actively negative, generating 4% of gross annual plant revenues, supporting the financial loop. So basically, it's paying for it.
Yeah, that's cool. The $15 a ton, that's a fairly good. I think when Singapore first started, they did $5 a ton. Some places are starting like $100 a ton. It allows a system to get growing, but it doesn't provide that big of a financial obstacle at the beginning. The one thing I neglected, the whole prompt is that the living needs to be affordable on a combined salary of a nurse and a school teacher. And I think you said it's 11,000 Egyptian, uh, what's the currency that you
Yeah,
use?
Egyptian pounds.
11,000
Egyptian pounds.
Egyptian pounds. And if I do my math, I think that's only about 220 US dollars a month. So people are kind of being squeezed, even though you have educated people, nurse, and high school teacher, nurse working for the government. You're trying to really open up the economic envelope. Is that correct? I'll direct that back to you, Ahmed. I forgot to touch on these points.
It's fine.
Is that the correct uh, overview of the economics?
Yes, true.
Yes,
Um,
Don. It's
uh,
the families here like 85% of their salaries, which is, as you said, about approximately 11,000 Egyptian pounds. 84%, 85% of it mostly goes to utilities, food. That only leaves them with about 2,000 Egyptian monthly for other things.
Yeah, so you're looking holistically. That's really great. Mohammed, part of the solution was the rooftop where the solar sits over crops, what you call agrovoltaics, and that's part of the puzzle of your solution. So how does that roof give the families in your community electricity, water, and a cooler home all at once?
Okay, let's easily break down the roof. We have agriculture on the roof. We plant fava beans, potato, and then we use solar panels for two reasons. The first reason to production of electricity, and the second reason to shade for the plants to grow faster. And then the water that is reclaimed from the gray hydropower is used for the agriculture on the rooftop, and then the food that we get from the rooftop is given to the people, or maybe we can do a small vegetable shop so the people can claim the food from it. And also, we decrease the utility cost on people as the solar panels produce electricity, and then this electricity is used for light and security cameras. And also, we don't pay for water as we reclaim it from the gray hydropower after filtration and the filtration tests. And this helped to reduce the cost on the family from utility and food. And that's it. It's really a very good solution.
Yeah, and the images that you created of it really brought to life. So talking
Uh,
about bringing to life the good living, in this next section, I want to talk about the homes and the streets and the costs and things like that. So I'm going to go to Jumana. I understand you built the 2D and 3D walkthroughs in the home. So what does life actually look like for these families inside your rendering of the design?
Okay, first of all, I had to ensure that our gray water recycling units and smart sensors placements were perfectly integrated into the building fabrics. It wasn't just about making it look realistic, it was about proving that the physical dimensions of the infrastructures could realistically fit into the existing urban layout of the apartments. And it took me actually too much time to like just know how to use the floor planner. Um, it wasn't that easy, but I had to figure it out to make it easy to my team to submit it on the perfect time.
I'm hearing a theme that everyone on the team had to figure stuff out. They had to learn.
Yeah.
Boy, what a life lesson. That you know the I had a 40 plus career in energy, and it's amazing what changes over that. When I ask people how I communicated to people across the world in 1981, they don't realize that email didn't exist, fax machines didn't exist, and so lots of things will change over your careers. But if you have that lifelong thirst to learn, then you can always handle what the future throws at you. So that's pretty cool. So you worked everyday problems, Jemana. You worked transport and garbage and security. So how did you tackle that aspect of the solving the nitty-gritty of living for your community?
Okay. It actually it wasn't easy as me and Selim, we kept like thinking and figuring out ways to also make it affordable. Um, so it wasn't easy to find a better way for transportation, for network, for safety, and all of those things. Like also recycling the garbage. Um, everything was so expensive, but we figured a way that to make it such easier way and to make it more affordable. So we figure it out.
Cool. Mohammed, you built the family financial plan, and we touched on it a little bit earlier with Ahmed. So tell us about the household numbers. What happens to the family monthly bills? Can you bring us through that again?
Okay, the typical family in Al Asmarat, gain around 11,000 Egyptian pound per month, and 88% of this salary or income goes through to utility, through food, school, health insurance, and transportation. Transportation are 11 to 15 kilometer away from Al Asmarat, so they pay a lot of money in transportation. Uh, so only a few amount at 12% of the income is kept. So as we said, the agriculture on the roof and the solar panels, this decrease the utility on them. So more we decrease the percentage of the cost on them. And also the biogas plant livestock can be used to decrease the cost also. And transportation alternative is provided, so it lowers the cost also. Uh, the goal is not only provide sustainable infrastructure but also improve household affordability, reduce living expenses, and help families achieve greater financial stability and increase the quality of their lives. That's it.
Yeah, because when people talk sustainability, they mostly think about the environment, but at the essence, to have a sustainable household, you have to have sustainable economics. So,
Yes,
so
for sure.
focusing on yes, so that's really cool. Uh, Zayed, you mapped the four-stage build plan, and financing was kind of brought into that. So, can you talk to us through how you actually go your vision on how this would be built, start to finish, and make it affordable to construct?
Well, I've studied the bus missions really, and I categorize it into four phases. As first phase, which for planning, financing, and site preparation. This is for the year one. Phase two is for the core infrastructure and the core infrastructure development, and this from year one to year two. Phase three, um, superstructure and service construction from year two to year three. Lastly, phase four, relocation, commissioning, and social integration, which is from year three and year four. But the overall from this implementation phases, uh, uh, it has two benefits. One for the social and community benefits, and for the economic and infrastructure benefits. Uh, uh, social and community benefits like safe housing. This project provides approximately from 7,300 to 700 400 fully serviced houses, fully serviced housing units to relocate households from high risks, as well as comprehensive public facilities, uh, uh, like residents gain access to integrated civic infrastructures, like including an educational complex offering both basic and technical or industrial schooling, and uh, religious facilities. Also, economic and infrastructure benefits like job creation services, modern utility networks. The site will have a complete and sequential rollouts of potable water, sewage, and natural gases, and electricity distribution networks.
Don, excuse me, Don, you're muted.
Thank you for that. What I was saying is and what Zayed gave us a flavor of, but it really comes through in the report, is that the whole execution plan is underpinned by government policies and programs that you all cited that can help bring this picture to reality. So I thought that was really good. Um, I'm going to move on now to a little bit of what I'd call team grit. And so Hala has been waiting patiently, but the next couple of questions are for her. I think she's the last one I haven't asked any questions of. My understanding is you have a technical degree you're studying, but you threw yourself into the communications aspect of the project,
Yes,
that
yes.
you taught yourself Canva where you didn't know that, and you built the entire presentation. So tell me a little bit about why you took on that challenge, which is different than the technical work you're studying in your education.
Honestly, I learned Canva in around 2 days, so I already had a sense of what makes a good design. But learning the tool wasn't as easy, I'd say. And also, I spent those 2 days exploring templates, watching few tutorials, and practicing by creating different designs until I felt comfortable using this platform. It was a bit hard. The only real challenge was the project timeline. We only had like 3 weeks because, we registered. We were the last team to register. So we only had 3 weeks to complete this entire design. So I tried to focus on creating a professional, visually engaging layout. Although working under a tight deadline was challenging, it helped us, all of us, develop new design skills quickly and taught us how to adapt, learn fast, and deliver quality work under pressure. And it also pushed us to learn quickly and manage our time efficiently, which is the main thing, which helped us to finish exactly on the time. That's what I was going to say about Canva, especially.
Okay, but you also gave us a glimpse of how the team had to work under deadlines. I mean, people talk about AI these days and having AI agents work in parallel. You had 9 human agents working in parallel, and then you're
Yeah.
trying to pull together the presentation. Uh, and and how did that go? Because somehow there must have been an outline, but then you're trying to integrate on this very compressed timeline, and you pulled it off because until I got one of the emails from Salim, I had no idea, or it was his LinkedIn post. I had no idea you all pulled this together in 3 or 4 weeks.
Yes, it was really tough. It was really tough, but all of us worked really hard. We wanted to prove something that we can do something that changes our world, and some communities in Egypt really needs this. We wanted to help Egypt in something really, really effective. And also, everybody did his task so perfect, and they were like hardworking, efficient, and they were like best colleagues I could ever work with, and they had to do everything so good and great. Also, everybody did his work, and they tried to analyze apartment layouts, energy systems. And they would like also to identify energy consumption. They did everything perfectly, which we're asked to do. So it was a great teamwork.
Well, that's pretty cool. So there was one question that I thought was interesting. You all, and this is a jump ball. I don't know who should answer this. I think I got everybody a question, but schooling was maybe a small part of the energy design, but actually not when you think about it. So it was identified that there's too little schools. It costs a lot to build schools. You have transportation to schools, and there's poor internet connectivity in these communities.
Yeah.
So you all came up with a way to reduce transportation energy, people going to and from school, reduce cost of building and reliance on the internet. So who wants to take that question?
I can answer a little part of this question as I remember. Like we know, Al Asmarat Phase 3, it had two schools, over 18,000 units. So it was a really high burden, and it was so dense. We wanted to do something that will benefit these children and make them something great in the future. That's what we were talking about. And also for the transportation, it was so hard.
Yeah, and so to get away from reliance on the internet, you were proposing that educational material be distributed by USB drives, which people can just plug into their TV or other devices that they already have. So that way they're independent of the internet. So again, it's little things like that that are kind of you look at it and you say, wow, that's pragmatically clever, low cost, and really helps jump the capability of the community. Um, so overall, you took the team took us through a package that was clearly identifying the community needs. You identified about a dozen of their needs, prioritized. You set about solving them. You had 9 people working in parallel. You picked a few options that worked for the location. You didn't try to do everything. You put in, combined heat and power from biogas as the main system. You had the tertiary system to make sure the security lights worked. You provided food through agriculture on the roof and an animal lot. You had commercial and technical analysis. You went and sourced data that was not just what you found on the internet, but you were resourceful in that. And a community-based design that had gray water and black water to biogas, agriculture rooftop. All of these things, must have stood out to the judges. I mentioned there was 11 judges through the 3 rounds that looked at your design, and you all walked away with the Energy Innovators Award. I'm going to invite Salim to kind of wrap up. He kind of hinted at some of this on the internet that you gave wonderful advice to the students who are considering to compete next year. So what would you say were your lessons that you would want to share with people who are going to consider entering the competition next year?
So I would say that if you're applying on a very short deadline like us, whether you're doing that or a few months prior, what I would do is I would organize each task and I would have one member who would distribute them efficiently. And what I would focus on exactly is getting every single technical component listed, its supply chain, and why it's there, its location, and every single detail about it. They have to know every single thing about the system, along with its political issues, its societal and it's psychological, which I believe were very big factors in determining this. You should also always try to go for real applicable systems, not ones which you can just slap renewable on it and call it a day. So yeah, I would say just focus on the reliability first and then focus on the carbon accounting because then you would have a system that would actually last you years and would be realistic enough for stakeholders to invest in. And yeah, we'll just say dedicate more time as much as you can, and you will learn a lot of stuff, even if you don't win. That's all.
That's pretty good. There's a lot of hype about AI, and what you guys really have brought in your design, in my own humble opinion, is the human aspects of the design. And what's really critical is bringing forward human judgments in rendering those designs. That humans have to bring the judgment and the curation and make the decisions to make sure that their products, their designs, their communities are actually serving the needs of real people in a real way. And it's kind of heartening to see how your team all came together and provided that human judgment, that human capability in order to make sure that you could deliver for your community. So I want to thank you, Team Energia, for joining me today. It was great to get to know you. Inspiring. When I talk to you, it really comes through in the interview that you all applied yourself to what you needed to do to make this happen. And high compliments. And that's probably exactly why the judges saw in your entry the spirit, the intentionality of the Power of the Community competition. And why you are walking away with the grand prize, the Energy Innovators Award for 2026. So thank you. Congratulations to you. And I have confidence that you're going to bring that personal energy to bring these type of energy systems to the people of your community going forward now more than ever. So thank you very much for joining us. Congratulations and so long.